Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the MMA Corner prediction shows. Tonight, we come at you breaking down UFC Fight Night 46, McGregor versus Brandao. As always, tonight's episode is brought to you by BattleBomb, the only pain reliever with the knockout power. BattleBomb.com. Check them out. Audio for tonight's episode is powered by Soul. Power, clarity, comfort. Soul Electronics. Get you some. I'm your host, Josh Davis, as always, alongside my co-host, featured columnist at the MMAcorner.com, Justin Fuller. What's up tonight, Justin?
Oh, ready for some fights like always.
I was ready for pow! What was that?
Uh, Dinner settling is what it is.
I got you. I got you. Well, with that being the case, let's get right into it. Obviously, last night we had a kick-ass card. Great night of fights for Wednesday, leading into UFC Fight Night 46, which will start on UFC Fight Pass at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and then main card goes to also UFC Fight Pass, which is 3 p.m. Eastern. But definitely make sure that you get on Fight Pass if you haven't done so already. Get your subscription because this is going to be also a hell of a card. I am certainly looking forward to that. So let's get right into it. Up first, we got Naoki Kitani versus Norman Park. Now, Kitani making his UFC debut. But if you don't know anything about this dude, he is a Valley Judo fighter coming out of Japan. Guy has wicked, wicked skills. Google him, YouTube him, check him out. Wicked skills. Going up against Norman Park, who honestly I think is a perfect opponent for him. Norman was on a 9-fight win streak before he had the draw at UFC Fight Night Shogun versus Henderson 2. I think these guys match up very well against each other. I've been looking at footage of Kitani, and I go back and forth on this fight. If he can deal with all of the octagon jitters and everything like that, and just straight talent for talent, I like his chances. However, in UFC debuts, we've seen what the octagon jitters do to people. They're not on their game like they normally would, and I think that's probably going to be what happens here. I'm going Norman Park in this fight, but I do look forward to seeing a lot of Kitani and what these Valley Judo fighters can do, especially now that the UFC is having the Valley Judo version of Tough. So I really look forward to seeing what he does inside the octagon, but I still think Park's going to come away with the victory.
This is one, I think it's going to be a great fight. My biggest concern is that Kotani might be a little outsized. I think Japanese fighters in general don't cut as much weight as their Western counterparts. I mean, one exception would be Okami, that was a pretty big middleweight. But this is the second time we're actually going to see Kotani in the UFC, and he's had a very long career. He's been in there with some top guys, and he's strung together a lot of wins recently, over 10 of them. But they really aren't against top talent. It's just kind of up-and-comers or Asian fighters that he's just been ripping through over there in Japan. But if he can keep that momentum going, he's got all the experience in the world, He's got 50 fights on his official record. Who knows how many more he has. But Park's got the youth. He's got the momentum on his side inside the UFC. I think it's a lot of problems, but I think Kotani's going to be able to pull this one out in front of Park's hometown crowd, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be surprised if he did it. And as it is his return to the octagon, he still hasn't fought in the UFC since 2007. That's a long time. The last time he fought was UFC 75 against Dennis Seaver, and he lost via KO. Like you said, he is on a tearing through Japanese fighters. But the guys fought outside of Japan less times than I have fingers, and fighting outside of Japan, his record is not that great. He has definitely struggled with fights again outside of Japan. I think this is again going to be one of those things. But I would not be surprised to see him come in here and lay a beat down, because he does have all the skills to do so. All right, moving on. We have Ian Uncle Creepy McCall versus Brad Pickett. Justin, why don't you start us off on this one?
We kind of talked about this one before. I think this is Uncle Creepy's fight. I think if he comes into form like he did in his last fight, we're going to see him fighting for the title within the next 12 months if he continues that. It's just, he's been out for a while, though. So, it's hard to see what kind of layoff that has. Most fighters will say ring rust is a real thing, or cage rust in this case. But I think if he comes in mentally prepared, that he has all the skills and physical ability to be one of the top 3 fighters in that division again. And not to take anything away from Brad Pickett, he's coming off that win over Neil Seery, and that was one hell of a fight. And that was a fight Seery took on short notice too. So I think this is going to be a lot tougher test for Pickett, for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I like Uncle Creepy in this fight. Ian McCall, he lost. He had the draw with Demetrius, then he lost to Demetrius, then he lost to Joseph Benavidez. Obviously, I got back to his winning ways, but like you said, it's been a long time since he's fought. He hasn't fought since UFC 163, which was August 3rd of last year. That is a long time. He is going to have some ring rust. There's no question about that. However, I still think this is his fight to win. Brad Pickett's 35 years old. He's been in some wars. He's not as fast as he used to be, and really in his last couple fights, he's really just looked for that one punch. He's not the same fighter that he used to be, and I'm an old man. I remember Brad Pickett in the Bodog days. He's not the same fighter that he was. I think Uncle Creepy is going to be able to put it on him. So I think he'll probably get a finish in either the second, third round. I'm going with Uncle Creepy. Up next, we have Zach Cummins versus Gunnar Nelson. I love this fight. I think this fight makes a lot of sense as far as the division goes. I think these guys match up very well with each other. Obviously, Gunnar Nelson has basically destroyed everybody in his career, except for his first fight, which was a draw. But since then, destroying everyone. Zach's on a 4-fight win streak right now. He's looked good since he debuted against Scott Jorgensen, and then he followed it up with another nice decision victory over Josh Sampo. However, I think Gunnar's the overall better fighter. I think everywhere this fight goes, Gunnar is one step better. I look for Gunnar to, I don't want to put on a clinic, but I think Nelson will definitely be the dominant fighter, and I do think he'll be able to get a finish in probably the second round.
I don't 100% buy into the Gunnar Nelson hype train yet, but definitely a win here could change my mind. I definitely don't think he has done enough to get the ranking he has right now, especially with how deep that division is and how many experienced, talented guys there are. Not to say he doesn't have the potential, but he only got 3 fights in the UFC so far. And you really haven't beat anyone that's also, that's in that top 15. But definitely the winner of this fight does deserve to be in the top 15. And even though this would only be Zach Cummings' 3rd fight in the promotion, he's been in there with some top guys at a lot higher weight classes. And that's why he's going to get my pick. He's been in the game. He's got a lot of fights. He's been on other on televised shows. And I think he's finally kind of found a home, and he's going to find his form here in the welterweight division in the UFC. I don't know if he's going to be able to make a serious run for the title. Let's see him fight 3, 4, 5 more times. That's pretty much what it takes now. A good 7-fight win streak these days. But I think Nelson's going to run into a roadblock here against Cummings, and then he'll have to go back to the drawing board to get back to form, to be the fighter I think a lot of people thinks he already is.
God, we are full of disagreements tonight. But no, I agree. I love Zach. I think he's got all the potential in the world. The one thing about Gunnar, and I think this is why he's ranked as high as he is, Uh, he's 12-0-1 in his 13 fights. Uh, he's gone 3 rounds twice. Uh, he's finished pretty much, well, he has. He's finished all but one of his opponents. I think that's kind of why he has the ranking that he does, and that's why he has the height that he does, because he goes out and finishes guys. And anytime you do that, people are going to, make you into Braveheart and say that you shoot fire bolts from your ass. But the fact is, I do think in this fight, stylistically, I think he's just one step above Zach on most areas that this fight will take place. However, I could be wrong, and Saturday night eating my shoe while Justin over here does a victory dance. So,
and the only thing with Gunnar is that it's like the last guy he fought had 1 fight in the UFC. Jorge Santiago was 2-2. He was DeMarcus Johnson's last fight in the UFC. So I'm not saying he's not that good. I'm just saying we don't know yet. And I think this is the perfect fight for him. But he might be buying into his own hype, and that might be his worst enemy. But if he comes out there smart, he can win this.
it's going to be interesting. It is one of the fights on this card that I really am looking forward to most. I think these guys match up real well against each other. For this fight, middle of the afternoon for us, or for this card, I mean middle of the afternoon for us, I think this is a great main event. And
oh, yeah, of course.
Another fight that I look forward to, because like I said, Zach could come out and just beat the crap out of Gunnar. I would not be shocked if that happened. However, in my mind, I think Gunnar has it. But it wouldn't be the first time or the last time that I made the wrong prediction. Moving right along, I might get this one wrong. Who knows? Conor McGregor versus Diego Brandao. Justin, why don't you start us off?
This is when I go back and forth, and McGregor's another guy. He's on this great win streak, but again, he's only fought twice in the UFC. His celebrity has helped propelled him higher, but he's been smart about it. The UFC's been smart about it too, and I think this is the perfect opponent for him. I mean, Diego Brandao is not in the official top 15, but he is a legit top 15 fighter, and it's the perfect type of opponent for McGregor. Brandao has all the tools to be a contender. It's just about putting them together. He's 4-2 in the UFC. He won the Ultimate Fighter for submitting Dennis Bermudez, and it just was a beautiful armbar that he did too. He's dangerous on the ground. He's got heavy hands. It's just, is he going to be coming there cutting weight right? He's going to come in there with a good game plan. Is the travel going to affect him at all? But with McGregor, I mean, he did look good in his 2 fights, and there's the guys he fought were definitely at the level. I mean, Max Holloway is no joke. That's a legit fighter, and even Marcus Brimage, he's had more than a couple times in the octagon. So, again, I think Conor McGregor has the potential to be where he's ranked. He's just not there yet. But the thing is that he's going to get this win here, and then we might see him at number 10. So I just don't like to see guys get pushed too quick, too high, too fast, and before they're ready. But I think this is a really good test to see if he's ready. As for picks go, it's a really tough one. Again, I think it's going to come on to how well Diego Brandao is prepared for this fight, but Conor McGregor's got the hometown crowd. He's got the momentum working for him. So, much similar to Gunnar, as long as the hype doesn't go to his head, he should be able to pull this one off. But if I had to bet money, I'd say Diego Brandao 3rd round submission, if I had to bet money. But that's because the payout would be better.
The payout would be better. Yes, Conor's fighting in his hometown, but his last fight, again, was against Max Holloway. And while he looked good in that victory, I'm a huge Max Holloway fan. He hasn't fought since then, and that was August 17th last year. And so, again, he had the knee surgery, all of that kind of stuff. It's a long layout. Now, I think Diego Brando's a perfect matchup, obviously, since Cole Miller wasn't able to fight due to injury, all that kind of stuff. I think Diego Brandao was the perfect backup. With all that being said, I like Conor in this fight. I think Diego has too many issues that he always carries with him into the octagon. Weight cut, game plans, just the stupid stuff that he says with
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. He brings too much baggage into the octagon, and I think Conor's going to be able to take advantage on his mental weakness, so to speak. And I do look for Conor to get a victory in this fight. Is Conor ranked too high? I don't know. I look at Conor McGregor right now as the 145-pound Irish-born Chael Sonnen. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's winning fights, and he's using his mouth to talk himself into a title shot. And with a dominant performance this weekend, one more win, he probably will be in the title mix, especially if Jose Aldo beats Chad Mendes again, because, again, that just eliminates one more guy from title contention. At that point, it doesn't matter what Chad does. He's already lost to him twice. So he's not going to get a third title shot. So he's completely out of there. And it does allow someone like Conor McGregor to sneak in there and get a title shot. And I agree with you, Justin. I think he needs to wait. I think he's got a lot more to learn, a lot more to prove before he steps in with someone like Jose Aldo. But if you listen to Conor, he wants the title shot now. He doesn't want to wait. He thinks that if he keeps running his mouth and gets a solid victory over Diego this weekend, that he's going to get the title shot. So it's easy for me to sit here and say he needs to wait because, I'm just an idiot with a pen and a computer. But being that I am, I still sit here and say that he needs to wait.
Oh, yeah. And, I think one thing, the UFC's gotten a lot of criticism lately for not putting on bigger fights. And it's like, I think one of the problems people have overlooked is that up until a couple years ago, there were other promotions building stars. Fighters people like us consider to be top 10 fighters that weren't in the UFC. Well, now it rests on the UFC to build those stars. The problem is that we don't have to wait for contractual obligations to see them fight. We could just see them fight top talent and put them to the test right away. So that whole idea of having a 1 and a 1A guy, like when we had GSP Jake Shields, that's never really going to happen again. Because it'll be some time before Bellator puts himself in a position like that. So now it rests on the UFC. And I see kind of Conor McGregor in that position. He doesn't have the luxury of being in another organization to build himself up and then negotiate a big contract to come over for a title shot. So you're going to get thrown to the wolves right away. And, I don't think this is going to give a title shot right away, but it's definitely going to get him one of those top 5 guys right after this.
Yeah, without question. I'm looking at the UFC's rankings right now, and our own Rob Tatum is on the ranking committee. You have Darren Elkins, Dennis Bermudez, Jeremy Stevens, in the 12, 11, 10 position. I got to be honest, I don't want to see Conor fight any of those guys.
No.
Then you have Nick Lentz, Dennis Seaver, and Clay Guida in 987. While the Clay Guida fight intrigues me because he's going to challenge Conor in ways that he hasn't been tested before, the number 6 fight is the one that really makes the most sense to me, assuming Conor's able to get the victory, and that's Dustin Poirier. I do think they match up well against each other. Dustin probably isn't going to want to take the fight because it's a lose-lose situation for him. But if he was willing to take the fight, that's one exciting fight. That's one is just a fan I would love to see.
Yeah. And I think a win here is actually going to put Conor in a position where guys are going to want to fight him, especially if they think they can beat him. They're going to go, you know what? He might not have 6 fights in a row. He's only got 3, but he's a lot bigger name than the guys I'm fighting right now, and I can beat that guy. You're going to get a lot of guys calling him out right after this win, if he gets the win. But you're going to have guys not want to fight Diego Brandao if he wins. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. If Diego Brandao wins this fight, seriously, he'll be the 145-pound version of Khabib.
Khabib. I was just going to say that, Khabib, yep.
No one's going to want to fight him. So, but, that's kind of a perfect position to be in. Guess what? If no one wants to fight you and they need a title contender, you tend to be the guy that gets thrown in there because no one else wants to fight you.
Yep.
you know, that's certainly a good spot to be in. All right, Justin, final thoughts for the evening.
I think I said this for the last Fight Pass card, but I'm going to say it for this one. This is the best Fight Pass card yet. It's 4 fights on the main card. Even the prelims are legit. I mean, you got Alir Latifi fighting on that. That guy went from headlining a card to being on the main card, and now he's on the prelims. Neil Seri, Phil Harris, that's going to be a sick fight on the prelims. But the main event, 4 great fights, all have significance in their respective divisions. They're all going to be exciting fights. We got everything from flyweight up to welterweight. The only thing we're missing is bantamweight on that card, but it doesn't matter. Those are the divisions that put on good shows.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think this is one hell of a Fight Pass card. I'm excited for it. And the Cody Donovan Nikita Kirlov fight is another one I'm looking forward to. Obviously, Cody being a Colorado native and whatnot, he's one of our buddies. But just again, stylistically, I think they match up well. And if Cody doesn't come ready to fight, Nikita's going to beat the crap out of him. So I'm certainly looking forward to that one. And then you have Trevor Smith versus Tor Trump. If you remember, Tor was on the Ultimate Fighter with John Jones and Chael Sonnen. A lot of people thought he was going to win the show. I look forward to seeing what he can do against Trevor Smith. So there's a lot of fights on this card that are very intriguing. And then again, I can't say it enough. Don't sleep on the Zach Cummings Hunter Nelson fight. That fight could just steal the show. So definitely get your crap together. Get on FightPass.com. Get your Fight Pass account, and definitely check this out. Again, the prelims start 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and then the main card starts at 3 p.m. Eastern. So I cannot stress it enough. Get on Fight Pass. All right, guys, that is going to do it for tonight's episode. But guess what? We will be back immediately Saturday afternoon to give you our breakdown, recap, rundown of all of the fights, et cetera, et cetera. In the meantime, if you need an MMA fix, here's the deal. I got the place for you to go. It's real easy to remember. The MMAcorner.com. See, real easy. The MMAcorner.com. It just flows off of your tongue when you say it. Try it with me, everyone. The MMAcorner.com. Go check that shit out.
Is that THE or DA, like the MMA Corner?
No, it's not the. Most of us are good to go in that regards. It's THE. The MMAcorner.com. It even says so on the logo if you want to check.
What? Oh no! Look at that. We got a logo.
We do. So guys, in all seriousness, go to the MMAcorner.com, your home for all things MMA. We have all of your all of your combat sports needs covered. Until Saturday night, actually until Saturday afternoon, I'm Josh Davis for Justin Fuller. Keep living the MMA Corner lifestyle. Peace.